Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking a scalpel to a concept that's really personal, but I think universally relatable.
It really is.
It's derived from the stack of sources you provided, and it's all about that massive, sometimes pretty painful difference between saying you care about someone.
And actually demonstrating that you care.
Yes, exactly. The sources give this deep dive a title that's just perfectly clear. Love doesn't stop with a phone call. And really, that title is our mission statement for today. We're going to unpack the huge gap between what you might call superficial connection, the quick text, the brief check-in, and the kind of active, persistent support that really defines a true commitment. We're hoping to give you a framework to figure out if your relationships are built on, well, shared investment or just convenience.
And I think what's so valuable here is how broadly this applies. The material isn't just talking about romantic partners.
Not at all.
No. This is a lens you can use to evaluate your friendships, your family relationships, even, close colleagues. The core question, and the sources really demand we answer it, is what actions, beyond just saying the words, truly validate that feeling of love or mutual regard.
Exactly. Because saying I love you is, the lowest effort possible. It's a label. But the real challenge for you, the listener, is identifying the verb in the relationship.
The action.
The action that backs up that feeling. So let's unpack this idea that a genuine connection needs a lot more proactive investment than just a casual chat here and there. Okay. So let's dive right into the basic premise from the sources. They sort of set the bar by describing what's not enough.
Right, the baseline failure.
Yeah. A relationship where the communication is just a phone call here and there, and it ends with, and this is a quote, okay, love you, bye. They call this the transactional minimum.
It's the emotional equivalent of just, checking a box. Done. And to get past that bare minimum, the sources lay out 3 critical extensions that are, they're necessary.
These aren't just nice to have.
No, not at all. They're the fundamental building blocks of demonstrated love. The first one is time investment. And it's not just about the amount of time, it's about the quality of it. It means spending focused time with that person.
Right.
Whether it's in person, a long video call, a dedicated phone conversation.
Yeah.
It has to be time where the other person feels seen and heard, prioritized, not multitasking time.
And that links so perfectly to the second component, which the sources call intentionality. It's not just waiting for a spare 20 minutes to magically appear in your day.
No.
It's actively making plans and arrangements to connect. Think about the signal that sends. If I can only talk to you while I'm driving or, folding laundry, that's convenience.
That's found time.
It's found time. But if I block out 7:00 p.m. on Tuesday specifically to talk to you, or I schedule a lunch 3 weeks from now, that is intentional time. It shows I value you enough to actually build you into the structure of my life.
And that intentionality, that willingness to prioritize, it just naturally flows into the third and I think the most significant piece the sources identify: support. Real commitment means offering support. A commitment to helping them achieve their goals.
And that's the perfect setup for where we're going next, because the sources really nail down what that support looks like in practice. We're moving beyond just vague encouragement. We're talking about real action, especially when the other person is into something, a new project, a passion, a goal, and you proactively offer to help. The sources even give this almost instructional quote that sums it up. Hey, man, let me help you out with what you're trying to do.
It's so simple, but so powerful.
It's an active statement. It removes all the guesswork about whether you're willing to pitch in.
And this is where the quality of that help becomes so revealing. The material is explicit about this. You should offer support even if you don't fully understand or, and I love their phrasing, quite get the interest or the project. It's such a profound distinction. You don't have to be a coding expert to help your friend who's learning to code, right?
Of course not.
You don't need to understand organic chemistry to help your sister with her research grant application. The support they're talking about is often logistical or moral or just encouragement.
Proofreading something, running an errand for them so they have more time.
Exactly. Just listening patiently. It's not about being an expert consultant.
I love that detail because it totally reframes what help even means. It's not about having the same expertise. It's not about being smarter than them.
It's about shared commitment.
Shared commitment is saying, I see you trying, and I am going to dedicate my resources, my time, my energy to make your path easier, just because your success matters to me.
Precisely. That willingness to help in the ways that I can, based only on seeing their passion, That is the key. That's what separates a truly supportive relationship from one that's just, conversational. You're basically saying, I value your growth more than I value my own convenience.
So if you're out there applying this, showing up, making intentional plans, proactively offering help with their goals, you're meeting what the sources call the gold standard of demonstrated love.
Hmm.
But that brings us to the critical turning point.
Hmm. The other side of the coin.
What happens when that effort isn't returned? So once we've established what active support should look like when we offer it, the next, and let's be honest, often painful step is to see if we get it back.
The test of reciprocity.
The critical test. What happens when the roles are reversed, when it's you sharing your hopes, your dreams, your big projects? Do they meet you with that same level of active support?
And according to the sources, this moment of vulnerability is, well, it's where the relationship often fails the test. And the breakdown reveals a real lack of genuine interest. When the tables are turned, the material points to two main, really corrosive failures. The first one is a complete lack of inquiry. They don't offer to help. But what's almost more damaging is they don't even ask the follow-up questions.
They just let it hang in the air.
Totally. You say you're starting a new business and they just don't ask, oh, how's that going? Or, hey, where are you at with the funding? It's this passive disengagement that basically says your project isn't important enough for even a simple check-in.
And instead of that basic inquiry, which would at least show they're paying attention, they jump straight to the second, and I think more destructive, failure. Immediate negativity.
Oh, the negative assumptions.
Yeah. Yes. They just jump straight to pessimism without doing any due diligence. So let's just paint a picture of this. Imagine you share that you've been working on a book for months, right? And instead of asking, how's the latest chapter going? They immediately say something like, you haven't finished that yet. You know publishing is impossible these days.
And frankly, you probably don't have the marketing skills to make it work anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's that.
They leap right past asking about your progress and jump straight to assuming failure. They conclude that this and this and this aren't working out because of you or some other reason. They assign blame without ever seeking an update or acknowledging your effort.
That negativity is so insidious because it's completely unsolicited. This isn't constructive feedback you asked for.
Right.
It's a roadblock thrown up by someone who's supposed to be on your team.
The sources really synthesize this perfectly. It's a two-pronged problem. First, there's no offer of assistance. They never ask, what can I do to help you with that? And second, what they give you instead is prescriptive negativity. They start telling you, oh, you should be doing something different. You should just quit that and go back to your old job.
They invalidate your current path and try to dictate a new one, instead of just offering a hand on the path you've already chosen.
And this prescriptive immediate negativity is explicitly called a lack of support. And more than that, it's the exact opposite of how love should function as support. Love, in this framework, has to be an aid to their goals, a source of positive energy, not a hurdle.
Which forces us, and you, the listener, to confront this ultimate question of interest and really authenticity in the relationship. Because you might be sitting there thinking, okay, but I do feel like this person loves me because, we do talk. Maybe this person calls me sometimes.
And that feeling of vague connection is exactly what this material is trying to help you dissect. If you look past those sporadic calls, the underlying pattern that the reciprocity test reveals is pretty stark.
What is it?
It's that they don't really have any sustained, demonstrated interest in your interests or in helping you with them. And that can be a painful thing to realize. The contrast is that they seem to only want you to help them with their interests. They'll receive your intentional time, your planning, your offers of help, but when it's your turn.
You get conversational scraps.
And judgmental assumptions. It turns the relationship into something deeply transactional. It's not mutual support anymore.
It's a support funnel that's just pointed straight at them. And you're the main resource.
The uncompensated resource.
And that right there is the critical insight. If the whole thing is built on you being the sole source of support for their goals, while they only offer you superficial connection and destructive critique for yours, well, the sources pose that central, damning question for you.
Then where's the love in that?
It just highlights that massive, unmistakable gap between saying the words and showing up with real, supportive, reciprocal action. So let's do a quick recap for you as you process this framework. We've gone deep on this idea that love requires active investment, something that goes way beyond a quick phone call. That investment has to include intentional time, not just convenient time. It means proactive planning, and a genuine, demonstrated interest in the other person's success.
And that interest is shown not by having expertise, but by positive inquiry, by asking, how's that project going?
And by proactive offers of help. What can I do to clear the way for you? If what you get back is just immediate, unasked for negativity instead of that reciprocal effort, then that relationship, no matter what you call it, is failing the test of supportive love.
And that failure leads us to our final provocative thought for you to take away. If love is defined by the intentional, proactive investment you're willing to make in another person's dreams, does the absence of that reciprocal interest, does that not just signify a lack of support, but maybe a fundamental misunderstanding of the relationship's whole purpose?
Wow.
It makes you wonder. So think about this. The last 5 times you scheduled time with someone you claim to love, were those meetings intentional and prioritized, or were that inconvenient? What stands out to you as the most critical difference between a casual "I love you, bye"
Yeah.
and real, actionable, dream-supporting care? Hold on to that question this week.